Not yet. Yeah. Hi, everyone, and thank you so much for joining our stream today. My name is Kate Hateva, and I'm a founder of Career Pathway Institute. We are a non-profit organization that helps internationals to move forward with the careers that fits them best in the US. And I want to give a shout out to my team who are behind the scene, Dim, Alan, and Anne. Hi, guys. And if you're interested in joining our community, please check the links below this video. And if you'd like to join our team, you're also welcome. So let's start our live stream today. And knowing how frustrating and difficult it can be to find a job here in the US, we decided to create a series of interviews with accomplished professionals who have already passed this journey and who can share their experience. And today we have a very interesting guest with very interesting topic that's called how to get your first job at FAANG without experience and fancy degree. So we have an amazing guest today with us, Jenny, and let me introduce you. Evgeniya Yesipava, she works as a product manager at Meta. She's also an entrepreneur, mentor, and women leadership advocate. And Jenny moved in the US with a non-working spouse visa with near zero English, but found her way into business and became a product manager at Meta. And thank you, Jenny, for joining us today and for sharing your story. And also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I just want to say that's my pleasure. Thank you for inviting me. You're doing an amazing job, actually.
Thanks. And I also want to thank everyone who is joining us live today. You are welcome to ask your questions in the section below. You can drop them in the comment section. And let's begin. So, Jenny, let's break down your career journey into three parts. So, first part, let's talk about before the US, plus your background. Second part is what you was doing when you moved to the US, plus your startup journey. And third part, your career at Meta. So my first question is, please tell me a little bit more about your background and what you were doing before moving to the US.
Yeah, it's a good question. Before moving to the US, I'm originally from Belarus. I'm not sure is everyone familiar with this country. It's like the country in Eastern Europe. I graduated from my university there, and I had around 5-7 years of working experience there. I used to work as SAP business intelligence consultant in Belarus and Russia, and that was very interesting job, inspiring career. But then we start our moves with our relocations with my husband, and first we moved to European country named Latvia, and
Wow.
there I was because I couldn't work for my company, and I should find another way to work and explore what is my passion. Yeah, I start actually helping small startups and my friends with some project management job, product management job. At that point of view, I didn't understand that it's product management job. I was just helping startups to achieve their goals, and that was very exciting. And then after a few years there, me and my husband decided we can move to the US, and we moved to California. And as you mentioned, that's no working visa, spouse visa. Yeah, that's before move.
You mentioned a very interesting point that when you had this time in Latvia, you started to discover your passion. How you was doing that?
I'm sorry, you breaking up. I don't know. It's just in my video, or yeah, can you repeat, please?
Sure. You mentioned very interesting point that when you was in Latvia, you started to discover your career, your passion in the career. How you was doing that?
Yeah, it's when you have your like regular job in your country, you kind of in this track, and it's really hard to move from this track and like start from zero and give yourself like time and opportunity to actually like explore your passion, because you have like good job and you're just like growing a little bit and more and more and more. Yeah, but when you move to another country, like my first move was to Latvia. This country is like super close to my home country, and this is like pretty easy move for me with no like language barrier, because I could easily use like my native language there. But still, you have no like job permit at first time, and that time gives you opportunity to actually learn and explore like what area you want to grow, what's you good at. Like I was always thinking like what I'm good at, what is my strengths actually. Yeah, and I know that's like my strengths is like organized processes, optimized processes, communication, collaboration with different people. And
Hmm.
I was like, okay, I'm good at it, why not try to at least start helping people with that? Yeah, because I can spend my time, I can learn how I can make it like my career next.
Wow, that's amazing. So when you moved to the US, what was your starting point? Because you had no work authorization. So what kind of visa you was?
Yeah, I had H4 visa. I know that's like now H4 visa can work at some point.
At some point close to the green card. Yeah.
Yeah, but in my point at that time, H4 visa was just like you cannot work until you have your green card like ready. Yeah.
Hmm.
And also I couldn't work because my English was near zero. And when I just moved, I was just doing this and this for all the questions, and I spent time to learn English, and that was very interesting time.
And look at you now. You speak almost like native native speaker.
Now that's way not perfect, but I definitely can understand people, and yeah.
Well, so when you had the situation that you can't work and you already kind of know that what you want to do with your career, like later, have you an idea what you would like to do with your career while you was waiting for your work authorization, and for how long this process like could last?
Yeah, I had no clear timeline when my work authorization will be ready, especially at the first half of the year, because we just moved and company didn't start the process of the green card.
Hmm.
And I knew that green card for us would take like at least 1 year, 1.5 year. And at first we didn't know when company will start this process. I had no idea when I will have my work authorization. But because I have big passion to learn actually new stuff, and as I mentioned, I was helping like small companies to kind of like optimize some processes and do some job. I was actually very interested in how startup world working. Yeah, and I also knew that's like, okay, I'm learning English, but the very fun type of learning is actually not just like formal English learning in a class when you learn like present simple, present continuous, whatever. Yeah, when you are in like English speaking community if they're speaking about topic that you're passionate about. And I've started learning English by attending every single event in Silicon Valley, like every free event. But at that time, before COVID, that was bunch of like free events that you can attend regarding startups. And I was like attending few of them in a week at least.
Wow.
And first, that was just like I was sitting with these big eyes and like don't really understand what they're talking about in the like last row, and I was very scared of if people just came to me and like, "Hi, how are you?" And I was like, "Yeah, good." Yeah, but then you just learn and you learn subject, which is like startup, and this is really this area. I believe like this area is very like motivated. People are so
Yeah.
passionate, and when you're learning more and more about this area, and also this is my way how to learn English. That's just don't leaving you chance to not start your own startup.
I totally feel you. The same story. So, how you decided that you wanna start your own startup?
Yeah, when I was exploring this world, and also I was exploring like what is a good founder. Yeah, like who is the good founder? Because I saw different people. Some of them, and some people are successful, some people are not successful. Yeah, but a lot of people are starting new companies. And I was thinking, like, do I have actually like qualities that a good founder have? And mm, like I found some qualities in my personality that can do it, and I also feel like a strong passion for my idea, what I want to do, because like what my startup was doing. Basically, we help people to find accountability partners. I will explain a little bit more. Like a lot of
Sure.
people, we in January, yeah, like a lot of people after New Year, they make New Year resolutions and they start doing some stuff like, okay, I will run every morning. I will eat healthy. I will, I don't know, read more books, whatever. Your
Lose 10 pounds.
yeah, and people start, and then the curve goes like this. And um, I actually found a lot of stuff about like accountability, and accountability is also related to like people feels lonely and people give up
Yeah.
um, if they're by themselves and not accountable, like much more quicker than if they feel accountability, if they feel support. And basically, we provide them this connection with like support and accountability and a little bit of like challenge. And yeah, that was the startup, and I had a huge passion for this idea, and I've learned a lot about like what is my total addressable market, what is the situation in America. And I find that's like a lot of people, actually more than 60% of millennials and generation Z feels like lonely, feels that their
Yeah.
interest in ideas not supported by people around them. And this is like huge problem, and I have big passion for this, and I have some qualities. I'm learning knowledges. Why not to start solving this problem?
So, how did you find your team? It's a very lonely journey to be a founder of a startup, and I know how hard it is. So, how did you find people who support, who share your vision?
Yeah, because I in Belarus, I've graduated from tech university. Um, I have a lot of connection with like tech people there, and some people they just like shared my value, and they were very like excited by idea, and they also had the same pain point. Like, yeah, we we can understand the pain point. We're super curious about this idea, and they like believe in me, believe in idea, and they join the my startup. And after we find some like money, fundraising, then I've just like hired people, hired developer, hired like marketing manager, say kind of sales manager, yeah.
So you had a full experience being in Silicon Valley, building your own startup. So
Yeah.
what was your hopes? What you would like to achieve with your startup? You wanted to be next unicorn.
I believe every single startup owner have this in mind to be the like unicorn. But actually, for me, value was learning. Value was providing like help for people, like because again, I was really passionate about the idea, and as you know, I'm doing a lot of mentoring with people, and I'm like my heart is always supporting people. And with this, I was very excited about like bringing value to the people, and this was my big motivation actually. That's I can provide value to the people, and I can help them. But of course, like I believe every business owner, they also want to be like successful in their business.
Of course. So I think I just need to mention at this point that Jenny was my business mentor 1 year, just exactly a year ago. And we are part of the same community, Silicon Valley Ladies in Tech, right? It's called like that. So Jenny, she's very kind and she helped me a lot to figure out what's the problem, what the product market fit, and a lot of other things. Every founder need to address those questions at the very beginning of the journey. So just want to thank you once again so much.
You're always welcome. I'm so happy that you like you created this nonprofit company, and it's amazing.
Thanks. You also mentioned very interesting thing about founders' mindset and about founders' qualities. So what do you think? Every person can start their own company, their own startup, or like what qualities they should have?
Um, I I have some qualities in my mind that I value.
Mhm.
I mean, every person can start. Not every person can be successful. Yeah, because like to start a company in the US, you need like $1,000 to just like open
Yeah, just
corporation
register it. Yeah.
in Delaware. Yeah, but the yeah, I wasn't super successful in my startup as well.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not the best person to ask about qualities, but I can give you my point of view on that. Like, I believe startup founders should have like natural curiosity and be very open, because if you're not like open-minded, if you not see like opportunity, if you just like focus on one point and you cannot see like right or left from this point, I believe that's a way to fail, because especially, and we were speaking with you about this, when
Yeah.
you looking for this product market fit, yeah, and when you're looking for your like customers, who is your like ideal customers, in your mind and in your research that you've done, like all the fancy big research, it could be like, oh, okay, we definitely will go to this market. But then, like, your users kind of like driving you and pushing you where exactly to go. Yeah. And if you will not see this, if you will not be curious to explore other areas, um, it's actually a way to fail. I believe this is like the quality that I have, and that helps me a lot. Yeah. Also, as a startup founder, you need to be special. Like in the US, it's good to be a good fundraiser. It's
Yeah.
um, amazing skill. I don't have this skill in like super high level. That was like my personal like learning and struggle sometimes, because I came from the background and country where you're not actually like bragging about yourself. You're not showing yourself. Yeah,
Oh
you're
yeah.
not talking about yourself as like I'm the best person in the world. And when you do fundraising, people like other founders, they're just like screaming about themselves. They're
Yeah.
just like, we are so amazing. We just like the best people in the world. And that was very interesting experience. And yeah, like you need to learn if you came from like totally different culture how to compete with American people, with like Silicon Valley people, yeah, on this skill. And if you have this skill, that would be much easier like to fundraise. Oh, and of course for fundraising it's not just this skill, like your idea should be amazing, your total addressable market should be like big enough, you need to show how you will like give money back basically to investors and grow, and who would be your like customers, and a lot of fun stuff. But if you have the skill, it's much easier to.
Yeah, so you're so right. I think I just want to mention one more skill. That's what our teacher told us. And I think we took the same course from Stanford, continuous studies about entrepreneurship. And Brett told us the most valuable skill for any entrepreneur is storytelling. And I was like, why? So the ability to tell stories, to sell your idea, that's just invaluable, I think. So people like us coming from different cultures, when you're not used to, again, like you said, to brag about your success, about who you are, what you want to achieve, that's definitely a point to grow and to learn, to understand the American culture. Well, I think Silicon Valley culture.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what
And
other, I'm sorry, go ahead.
yeah, I just want to mention that you also should have this quality that you how to say rejecting fails,
Yeah.
you not ready to give up and
Yeah.
not ready to fail. You just need go and go and go.
Yeah, perseverance. So you mentioned very interesting point that you started to attend a lot of events about startups, about like everything available here in the Bay Area. That
Yeah.
you also, that was your way to learn English and to get into the context about startups. As far as I remember, you took the same class at Stanford about how to accelerate your startup idea. What other resources help you to launch your startup?
Yeah. I also took in Stanford, I also took class about like go to market strategy, which was really helpful. And also my researches was like a lot of books. And yeah, like books, YouTube. I was trying to find a like mentor. That's why I was doing a lot of mentorship after like my startup, because for me that was hard as a person from like different country with no connections here to find a mentor. Yeah, like
Yeah,
how to find a mentor, because mentor can save you so much time and
definitely.
like so much headache, because you can read books, you can watch videos, but sometimes you just need like small tip from the person who already like passed this journey. Yeah. And you probably even need like just different point of view from different angle. Yeah, like, and mentor can help you a lot with this. And for me that was really hard to find mentor, because it was like no connections. Like I'm a person from different country, and I was not sure how to like ask people to be my mentor. Yeah, like you will not go to like random person and say like, please be my mentor. I mean, you can, but and I was trying to do that also, but people usually like like we didn't have any connection, and they like you need some connections, some like group or something for doing this. And I found this when I finally found like a person who was my mentor.
How
Um,
did you find it? How did you find your mentor?
I found my mentor actually through um, some events for women in startups.
Oh, wow.
And one lady, she said that she is like really value the community and the like work that especially new founders do. And we somehow find connections with her, and I've asked her to like, can she just, I didn't ask like, can you be my mentor, because this ask, I've learned that this ask is just like, okay, now like person is committed to some time, whatever. I was just asking for like, can I call you and ask some questions? And she was like, when I need some like help and directions, I was just like asking for like 20 minutes of her time, and she like became my mentor.
Wow, thank you so much for this tip. That don't ask directly, you want to be my mentor?
Yeah, it
So,
was for some time, and people are like, if they committed only for 20 minutes, yeah, they're good with it. Some people don't want to commit for like being your mentor for a year or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, I remember also when we started to work with you, like I was your mentee, you was my mentor. At the very first call, when it was the intro and everybody was introducing themselves, they told something like very, very interesting and valuable. Like prepare very like carefully before your call with a mentor. You just don't want to waste the time of this person. Be prepared, ask specific question, what you really want to get from this conversation. Just be very specific, because the time is very valuable.
Yeah, because like your mentor is not your coach, yeah, who you're
Yeah,
like paying for, and then like that it's his job. A mentor is here to help you, and um, if you're asking really valuable questions, it motivates your mentor to help you like next time. If you're just losing the time of the person, it motivates to not help you next time, because they will not see the value.
that's so true. So I remember that I was like watching your startup when it was just at the very beginning, and I was amazed by the idea. And I love this accountability partnership connection, or how to say, work. And it was just before the pandemic, and then pandemic started, happened. It lasted for a couple of years. So what happened with the startup?
Yeah, really good question. Pandemic happened with the startup. Yeah, at that time we had our first round of investment. We was growing. We were pivoting a little bit to add not just like regular users. We were pivoting to add like influencers and coaches, because we found that our users ask like, oh, we want to be motivated by like coaches and influencers, and we want to connect with them.
Mhm.
And um, we was doing great. We was connecting with some like influencers, coaches. We were building this like marketplace platform on top of our like accountability app. We were learning a lot. We were growing, and I was attending like three startup incubators at that time, and
Wow.
they were small. It's not Y Combinator, but
Well, anyways.
yeah. Anyways, and I was making connections with some like investors who are potentially will give us money, and they were making like interests to other investors who are interested in like idea and a startup too. And then right before we are just like ready to sign our like second round of investment and be good for like at least a year or two, with like the same growth rate. That was pandemic, February, and all investors kind of like postponed their investment for first like for 4 months, then for 3 more months. And during that time, you still need to show your numbers, like investor investing in you, like in your startup, but also in the numbers in your growth. And if you cannot show your fancy numbers, your like growth, and like you're not so interested anymore. Yeah, like even if your idea is amazing. And also our competitors, because they had a little bit more money than we had for like marketing and for everything, they could they just like beat us on every single like paid marketing. And yeah, we were trying to like grow, and but that was like super hard. And then I realized that it's probably time actually to like close the company, because we need investors, and we're not so interesting for investors anymore. Because like if you're a new startup, if you say like, oh, we are only 9 months old and this is our growth and this is the amount of users that we have, it's like interesting. If you say we already 1.5 year startup or 2 year startup and you show the same numbers, the question is like, why? Yeah, you're not as as interested for investors anymore, unfortunately. Yeah, and I decided that it's probably time to like close the company, because I need to pay my team, I need to pay taxes, whatever, like a lot of stuff I need to pay for. Yeah.
Well, it's a very hard decision to decide that it's time to move on and approach another project, another interesting opportunity. So, what lesson did you learn from being a startup owner, founder?
Oh, I learned tremendous amount of lessons. I Yeah, I mean, I've learned how to hire people, how to find the right people. And actually, before hiring my team, I was very skeptical about okay, like in the US, during your interview process, it's a lot of questions, like behavioral questions. Yeah, like tell me about the time when you've done this. Tell me about the time when you had conflict. Can tell me about the time. And I was like, why you need as many like behavioral questions, especially like if you're hiring for like tech job. Yeah, like especially for engineers. And yes, it's kind of important that person is like it's a good personality, but I didn't understand it fully how it's important. Yeah. And when I've hired my team, and I kind of how to say, I fired the first person, the one developer, I just like fired him. Uh, like I understand that you can be amazing developer, but if your personality does not fit company, it's better never hire these people, because it would be much harder for team to work, and like developer can produce some results, but the whole team would be blocked because of communication, because of collaboration, because they're stressed of like speaking with this person. And like it's better to not actually like hire those people, even if they're like amazing developers. Like if they're super talented, you can find a little bit less talented developer, but with like much greater like personal skills, and your team would feel better, and you will like generate like better result.
Yeah, that's so important to have this culture fit. And there's an unwritten rule: hire fast, but fire faster. How would say?
Yeah, I mean that's definitely works for like startup, but it's also not as easy to hire for a startup.
Of course,
Yeah, like in California, especially, it's it's impossible
especially
because
here. Yeah,
yeah, you just like competing with such a huge companies who can give much bigger salaries. That's like why startups are hiring overseas. Yeah.
I think we already have some questions in our chat. I'll pick some questions. So, Jenny, can you please share how your startup experience helped you to land a job at Meta? And what advantages do you think you had compared to other candidates to be successful in your role? It's an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a really interesting one. Can you please share your startup helped you land a job at Meta? Um, my startup experience, first of all, helped me to understand that I'm good at it, that and feel confident that I'm good in like product. Yeah, like developing product from 0 to 1. Not every product manager had experience of developing like product from very beginning, from 0 to 1, and driving all of this process. That was definitely my advantage. That's why Meta and Google invited me to interview. um, I believe
I
that
have
was
chills on my hands.
um, yeah. And what experience help? I mean, the I don't even know what was the most important in this experience. Just like every single step on the creating the product helped me a lot to understand like how you work with user needs, and how you how you understand what your users want, how you think about market, how you think about like go to market strategy. The go to market strategy was kind of like new area for me, and that was tremendous learning on like how you think about it. Yeah. um, what else was learning? Yeah, how you manage developers, how you manage the like actual cross-functional team. Because now at Meta, I work with a lot of different teams, with a lot of different stakeholders, and like before in my job at my country, I was working mostly with like also with business intelligence people. Yeah, like pretty much same background, but there you're just working with people from different fields, and you understand what their values and how to manage them, and this helps a lot.
Wow, that's interesting. I'm really, really like tempted to ask you why you decided to approach FAANG. Like because you already had experience working with startups, and I guess for you it was just easy peasy to get another job at startup. Why you decided to like target FAANG companies?
First of all, I've never um, n- I've never have an easy goals. I kind of don't like easy goals.
It's
That's
too
not
boring.
That's kind of boring. Yeah, that I don't know. That's I feel that that's not good, and I'm always doing extra job for that. But I like goals, which is give it me some challenge. And also during my startup, I've heard from some like angel investors, which I was speaking about with, that they actually, like a lot of them, actually still value founders with experience in FAANG.
Oh,
They was not really happy at that time from this like country that they're not sure where exactly it is, like that I have education not from Stanford or whatever fancy university here, and that's my like I have career gap because of my moving,
visa. Yeah.
uh, and then like I was helping like different startups. Yeah, like know this fancy line in your resume, and this fancy line is helping people actually to fundraise money. And I was thinking like, okay, what I can learn in FANG, what will help me in future. Maybe I will start another startup in like I don't know how many years. Yeah,
Mm.
maybe this career would be great for me, like in Fang. But what I can learn, why it's so important, yeah, like it should be big learning if they like kind of um, silently require like at least some of
Yeah.
them, yeah, like. And I decided that okay, my next journey should be in Fang. Um,
Wow. So, how did you start this journey?
Um, yeah, I started this journey from being sad that I'm closing my company, and I start this journey from sending more than 100, oh, I believe even more than 140 resumes to different companies
Wow.
just to like try like the interviewing process
Uh,
to touch it a little bit. And I had a very small response rate, like extremely small response rate for my resumes. And I had just one interview with small company with first was like recruiter. I was super nervous because my last interview was literally more than 10 years ago. And that was not in the US. Like the process is completely different. And then I had an interview with like hiring manager and I failed it, completely failed it.
it's like a
And
phone screen, the very
it's
first one.
no, with recruiter that was okay. She said that I will speak with the hiring manager was basically like another product manager who I will work with,
Hmm.
and I failed it. Then I was like, okay, I probably need to pay huge attention on my preparation, and I started not just like uh, reading this amazing book on how to crack PM interview, which is like read it if you go to PM interview, like how to crack PM interview, and for developers it's like how to crack coding interview. Yeah, this book gives you like some structure on how you need to answer like different types of product management questions, because for product management it's very exciting that every company, every big company, they see your role differently, and
Mhm.
they have different types of interview, and you kind of need to be prepared to different types for each company. Like you need to focus on a company and what they want from you, yeah, and like adjust and learn some new types of interview. um, because like Google, with Google I had system design, which is purely technical interview, which like developers do, and they were asking me about like microservices and how I will build this system inside, and I was I was prepared, but it took me 6 months to prepare to this one interview from 6 or 7 interviews that I had at Google.
Wow. You definitely don't have an easy goals.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And for like other types of interview and for Meta, I found this resource where you can just like every single day you can be matched with other people who are also preparing to interview,
Mhm.
and you can practice your like behavioral interviews, and you can practice also your product interviews, like a few types of product interview. And I was just going to these practices like every day. Um, and I was practicing questions. First month was bad, very bad, because I didn't have this structure in mind. And like especially for behavioral interview, you need to use the STAR method. You need to nicely structure your stories and nicely um, I don't know, say about your achievements. And the practice helped me a lot because every time they connect you with another person, and this person can have different background, this person can have different style of like how they present themselves, yeah, how they structure their stories, and you're kind of learning what the people who you're competing with look like and how they present themselves. And first month was painful in terms of, okay, some people present themselves in amazing way, and I'm not as good as they are on presenting myself in those behavioral questions, yeah? But for this you just need to practice and practice and practice, and then have like every time when you're practicing, people giving you feedback, what they understand, what they don't understand. And actually practice for a few months almost every day helped me a lot to
Wow.
feel very confident in interview, because you already practiced this, not just in your mind, actually speaking out loud and receiving feedback on how people from different like cultures, languages understand you.
Wow, that's
It-
very helpful.
yeah, that was very valuable for me.
So you mentioned first month, then another month. So how long did it take to get a job offer?
Yeah, I've started sending my resumes in, I believe, November, and um, that was disaster, as I mentioned. And I signed my offer in May. Yeah, like it took me 4 months. I started interviewing process with Meta and with Google in late January and February, and it took me like 4 months to.
Wow, that's super fast. I hear stories like they are looking, some people looking for the first job for years.
Yeah, I mean, I've started in November. I've started my practice in November. I was practicing November. I was practicing December. I was practicing January. It's already 3 months of practice. Then in February, I start my interviewing process. Actually, to have my interviews, I just asked for referral, and referrals work amazing. If you have a chance to have referral from like whatever people you have around, it's the best way, because without referral, I don't know how to get this like calls from the company. And yeah, this 3 months, and then February, March, April, May, it's like 7 months I was practicing, and yeah, actively learning. That was basically my full-time job.
Yeah, looks like a full time job, but still, it's very fast considering the pandemic situation and hiring freeze for a while. So we have a lot of questions, and I forgot to look in the chat. Sorry. We have 10 minutes to go, so let me ask those questions from the chat. Okay. So what do you prefer more, entrepreneur mode or corporate environment like Meta, let's say? So entrepreneur, corporate. What do you prefer?
Both of them has their like pros and cons. From the standpoint that I don't need to worry that I need to pay to my team, I prefer corporate job because this is the huge responsibility, like people working for you. And when you couldn't fundraise, it's not just about you, it's also about like your team, your company. Yeah, and from this standpoint, I really prefer like work for FAANG, and they also provide food,
Amazing
so
perks.
mentorship, good learning. Yeah, like this is the amazing part. But from these like quick processes, like adrenaline, I don't know, like the very very quick learning, I prefer startups because, of course, like thank companies, it's established products and processes, and companies is like much, much, much bigger. And yeah, processes is slower, even if they like relative to another companies, they're like quick, but relative to a small startup, they're very, very slow. Yeah, for this I prefer for this like adrenaline and just experience this startup.
Got it. It's a tricky one. Okay, we have another one. So, Jenny, do you think it's possible to approach someone from a company like Meta for mentorship?
Yeah, I believe yes, it's possible. You just need to find those people outside. Like if you will join some groups, um I don't know, in Facebook or in Alpha community or like women communities, then they have sometimes like those mentorship programs. And also you can just start asking questions. And usually if you just start with like small kind of questions for like tips, people are willing to answer. I mean, if you ask like 5 people, at least I believe one will answer. At least this is my like experience. And then you can start building a relationship with this person. And yeah, if you will not find the mentorship programs, but sometimes like all of those groups have like mentorship programs, and then it's much easier to find a
Yeah,
mentor.
you mentioned a very important point, like build relationship with this person. So
Yes.
mentorship, it's not only, hey, this is my questions, help me. Yeah, it's also about giving something back. Yeah, and be truly interested in other person.
Yeah, and actually it's like this giving back part is that was stopping me from finding the first mentor. I was like, I cannot give back anything. Yeah, like I just have questions, like what I can give back. But when I start to be mentor for like people, I understand that I don't need like back from them special knowledges or whatever, secret information. I don't know what. Yeah, I just need to see their like passion, their success. That's my time is valuable. That's they use my like tips, and I'm not just like losing my time. I believe a lot of mentors, they just have this personality that they want to help, but they don't
Yeah,
want their time. That's like give back. It's more like, especially in your first steps, it's more like emotions for the mentor.
okay, thanks. So we have a couple of more questions and we have 5 minutes to go. Okay, how many practice interviews you suggest to do before targeting a fund company?
It really depends on your level. My
Mhm.
level was my last interview was 10 years ago. I never had interview in the US before. I was not sure how it works. That's why it for me it takes like long time to practice actually like every day and to feel very confident in my answers, because at first I was not confident, and when you're not confident you just like uh, you sound not confident, people not believe in your stories as much when compare when you sound like really confident in like your stories, and when you build these nice stories. And also with like product interviews, it's really depends on your like experience and on your experience in interviews. But for me, I've needed at least 3 months to practice and practice and practice. But that's like my case, and it really should depend on like your level of uh, like of interview, of your level of understanding what they want from you. Because my level was I have no idea what they want from me, and I have no idea about all the types of product interview, and it's like multiple types that you need to address every single type and be ready for this type of the interview and know how to structure it and know what they want, what their goals in this interview. And like if you're confident enough that you kind of like know all of this, you're good to go. And this is only depends on like when you're ready.
Wow. But sometimes you feel I'm not ready yet. Let's get some more interviews to prepare.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's true. That's why people suggest also apply first to the companies that you don't want to go to, and
Just to train the skill.
yeah, to practice, and that works for some people as well.
We have two more questions. Another one from Edie. Jenny, English is my second language, so even though I want to work in the US, I feel the fear about language. Could you please share any difficulties with language in working and how you can overcome it?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I passed all of my interviews for Meta, and I'm like actually like senior PM in Meta, but English
Wow.
also my second language, which I've learned super late. And um, when I joined my team, and when I was in like meetings with like director of product and some of our business partners, their English is amazing. They are born and raised in the US. They are native. They have business fancy business degree, and I was shocked that I couldn't understand a bunch of like topics that they're discussing because of my English and because of their like pronunciation. And then I've just started like every time when I don't understand like the words, I was just like writing them down a lot. I took like extra English classes, like business English, and I was just like learning this specific language, specific like words that I need to know. And then you also like when you're hearing it, how people speak, you're kind of used to this. Yeah, and now I understand like all of my directors like of products and business partners like completely. It just first time it could be hard, but because you have no choice. You really have no choice. You will need some time to like maybe learn some extra words or
Vocabulary, yeah. But I think
vocabulary.
it's also on your mentality. Like, okay, I just need to do that. I can do that. Everybody's from somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, I like I will say a few good words about Meta. Like I like that people are supportive. They
Mhm.
understand that's like you're a new person, and they not hiring you because of your English skills, amazing English skills. They hiring you because of your like product skills.
That's all
And
right.
if your English is not like super perfect, that's fine because you still have your brain, and this is your like value. Yeah, and this is where you can analyze stuff, you can build some products. And I've heard from other people from FAANG that they have the same like people is like not judging them because they have not ideal English, and their manager is not saying like, oh, you have to have those like, I don't know, perfect English and never be wrong. That's fine. You even can ask like, can you repeat what you said? And that's also like fine because you're learning. Of course, if you will ask this for like 5 years, maybe it would be a problem, but at the beginning it's not a problem at all. Don't be worried about this.
So, Jenny, I need to ask you this question. We are talking for 1 hour already. Do you have time for two more questions, or you prefer to answer them later?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
I can have like 10 more minutes, that's fine.
Okay, let's do it fast. Let's do it quick. Jenny, can you tell us about your team at Meta? What are your responsibilities? And did you join when its team was at the early stage of development or already established?
Oh, that's such a good question. Okay, let me think what I can share and what I cannot share. Yeah, I mean, I work for brand safety team. Our teams make sure that brands, especially like the huge brands, feel safe in our platform, and we building different controls for them to feel safe. And my responsibility is basically to understand like which controls they need, speak with some business partners, advertisers, and build for them controls that they need, and that's allow them to spend more money in our platform. Yeah, I joined. What is my responsibilities? My, as I said, like understand what we need to build, why we need to build this. Yeah, what's our vision and strategy for like different types of products. I'm working with like multiple products for advertisers, and for each product I need to like understand where we going, why we going this way. um yeah, like as any product manager, my responsibility is road mapping and planning. My responsibility is align like building alignment with other teams, because my team is also working with huge amount of different teams in Meta, and I need to make sure that my team align with like priority of other teams, with, I don't know, that we and they have enough edge capacity, like we align on the timeline, etc. This is my like high level responsibility, as I believe a lot of product managers do that in their job. And um, join when your team, yeah, my team was established, and I have really good team. I believe that like this hiring process works. That they found people who you enjoy working with, and yeah.
Great, thank you. And the last one for today. So, Jenny, did you apply for both project and product manager position? And if yes, why you decided to be a product?
Yeah, that's a very good question. First, I was not sure about the difference of product and project manager, and I was thinking about project manager. Also, I didn't mention this, but because I like the accountability part, I've started this group for PMs, for like women PMs. Um, we started this group as I've started my like practices in November, and we still have every single weekly meeting with those
By the
PMs.
way, people can join this group if they will reach out to you.
Um, yeah, it's like the language usually is not English, but yeah, but I can see here a lot of names that probably speak Russian, and yeah, people can join. They're like ladies from different like countries, from different backgrounds, and most of them with amazing career and like projects, portfolio, program management. And I've started like this group to just have this accountability and to hear stories that you're basically not alone who fail the interview, who have no idea what to do with this. And yeah, with this group, I found that's like, yeah, even people who has much more experience than me, even people who has experience in the US actually,
Wow.
they also confused, and it's also hard to journey for them. And this was like another, I don't know, motivator. That's, man, it's not just you, it's like, it's just hard journey, and you just need to walk through this journey. And I was first thinking that's okay, I should apply to project management. But then, thanks to this amazing group, one lady said, like, what you're explaining and what you're good at, yeah, like it's a product manager. Like you
Wow.
need to learn the difference. And I was like, okay, okay, the product manager, what's like the difference? And then I've learned the difference, and I was sure that I want to apply to product manager. I don't need to apply to project manager, because I really have passion to building products and to actually decide what and why we building. Yeah, and this is the product manager responsibility. And also, if you're preparing for product and project manager interview to FAANG, it's just like twice more job. And um, I didn't want to like spend extra time for preparing for project management, and I was just focused on product manager. And my advice to just like if you go into FAANG, especially like decide where like where you're good at, and like where you want to go, like what you want to do in your job. um yeah.
Wow, that's so important to know what exactly do
Mhm.
you want. It will save you so much time and energy. Just want to
Yeah,
highlight it.
yeah, and now we have like new members in our group, amazing group, and we have this question a lot of the times, like, yeah, I don't know, is it like who I want to be, yeah, like product manager,
When I
project.
grow up.
Yeah. Product manager, project manager, yeah. And some people don't even, they're like in really beginning their career, and they just like, we don't know the difference. And it's really important to understand the difference and focus on like one path, at least in my point of view.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I'm very tempted to ask the very last question. But if you can, yeah, if you can answer it like very short, because I want to ask like every guest who will attend our virtual events, maybe you can remember and share with us if you want. If you think of a career journey as a roller coaster, what's your highest high and your lowest low in your career journey?
Yeah, I mean, my highest high, um, in every single job, I was thinking that it's it's my highest high sometimes, and it's my lowest low sometimes. In my startup, I believe my startup combine, at least for now, highest high and lowest low. Like highest high, that was the time when we were growing and when I was like learning a lot, but already knew a lot, already like achieved something, and already had some knowledge and experience that felt like my highest high. And my lowest low, I believe that was the time when I just like closed my company and was in this deciding where should I go, how should I go there. Yeah, that's the lowest low.
Thank you so much once again. It was a very interesting conversation. And if you can share with us resources you mentioned, like Alpha Community, Correct PM interview book, like how to preparing for interviews and also business English classes, we can post everything in the description below. Thank you once again for joining us today, and thanks everyone for watching. We spent an amazing hour and 11 minutes with Jenny, and obviously it's not possible to answer all the questions just in 1 hour. So if you have more questions, please leave them in the comment section. We will try to answer it as soon as possible and even later. And if you're watching us in recording, also please leave your questions. So you're also welcome to contact us on our social media. And if you have any suggestions in terms of topics, in terms of guests we will need to talk with, or if you would like to share your own story, also please contact us. And we will have more events like this one on a regular basis. So make sure to subscribe on our channel and follow us on all social media. And if you find this video, this interview useful, don't hesitate to give us thumbs up and share it with your friends, family members, and people you know who might benefit from it. We will appreciate it. And thank you so much for watching. See you soon. Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye.